Okay, so chances are if you are watching this video, you're debating on going and seeing Watcher. And I'm here to review the movie for you so you can make the decision to spend your hard-earned money on a worthy cause, which is darn good entertainment. So in this review, I'll go ahead and I'll give you my overall recommendation first and straight away. Then I'll go into what the movie's about, what I didn't like about it so much, what I really enjoyed about it, and at the end, I'll give you an overall score. And they'll send you on your merry way to the movie theaters so you can make the best decision possible. Let's dive in. Overall, I would certainly recommend seeing Watcher. Great, now if that's all you needed, I beg you adieu and have a great time. But if this video was helpful, I'd be honored if you'd consider clicking the like button first, or if you want more information about the movie, feel free to stick around till the very end of the video. And just know, I love you either way. So what is Watcher about? Watcher is essentially the story of Jules. Jules has just moved to Romania with her husband, who just took on a new job and a new promotion. Her husband speaks Romanian, she does not, so there's a bit of a language gap there. And as she's adapting to new life in Romania, she starts to know some really peculiar things. She keeps seeing some creepy man staring back at her in a neighboring complex across the street. Every time she's looking out the window, she sees him staring back at her, and it's always at night, so it's really creepy. And then from there on, things get weirder and weirder, and this obsession starts to consume her. Pretty soon, more things start to play into her fears, and then she gets really freaked out. But the only question is her freaking out justified? And that's what the movie kind of plays into. And from there, we get a pretty satisfying thriller movie that is quite inconsistent, which leads me first into what I didn't like so much about this movie. The best way to describe this movie is to describe it as a tale of two halves. And the first half I thought was pretty poor. For about the first 45 minutes of the runtime of this movie, I couldn't help but feel like I'd seen the same movie a million times before. It plays on many of the tropes that you've seen in a million different movies before, where this girl, she thinks she's going crazy. All her loved ones are around her. They keep telling her, maybe you're freaking out just a little bit and you're being unreasonable. She gets into a fight with her husband over it. You've seen this same situation play out so many times before. And to make matters worse, in the first half, I felt like I had watched the same scene about 5 times over. It got really repetitive and a little bit boring. It's as if the movie wanted to be a thriller movie. It told us it wanted to be a thriller movie, but it lacked the tension that a thriller movie requires. Therefore, it felt really boring. It felt really one note and just really flat. And the absence of tension was just killing me, and I thought I was in for a really bad snooze fest for the entire hour and a half. And not only that, but the acting performances were a little bit choppy, which made everything feel even more mundane. In that first half, it just lacked everything that a thriller movie needs to be exciting and to be compelling, and it just wasn't really living up to snuff. But then we get into the second half, which leads me into what I really enjoyed about the movie. So the entire second half was a complete 180. It was a lot more exciting. It was a lot more unpredictable, and it really turned my thoughts around on this movie. We started getting a lot of scenes that featured scenarios that I haven't quite seen in thriller movies before. It started creating tension that was so thick you could cut it with a knife in the room. It was really exciting. You could see Jules kind of piece things together as to what exactly is going on, and you really start to wonder and even question yourself if there's somebody in fact following and watching her. And all that tension really made for an excellent second half where you're on the edge of your seat and excited to see more, which made the movie surprise you in a few different ways that you weren't quite expecting, and really led to some horrific and thrilling stuff by the time the movie ended. And also the performances ended up picking up in the second act, which I thought was really strange, but I'm all for it, especially with actress Maika Monroe, who plays as Jules. I thought her performance really shined as tension's starting to build. She's starting to go a little bit crazy as things are starting to fall into place, and it really elevates the movie as the tension starts to come to its conclusion. And by the end of it, you're feeling shocked. You'll see things that you weren't quite expecting, and it really put the throttle into this movie where it really leaned into the rated R parts, because up until that point, you could argue this was like a PG-13 movie, but by the end, it's kind of gross. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish, and this movie ended up finishing really strong for me, and ultimately made it worth watching. And so with that, I promised you I'd give you an overall score. I'm gonna say this movie is a 6 out of 10. It's worth seeing in theaters. You'll have a good time with it. Is it life-altering? No. Is it entertaining? Absolutely. Friends, I hope this video helped you make the sound decision to go ahead and see this movie. If this video was helpful or valuable to you, I'd be honored if you'd consider clicking the like button so people just like you are able to find it. Or if you like videos just like these and you want to check out more, feel free to check out these end cards or videos down in the link in the description below. This has been the Bankrupt Hippo YouTube channel. I've been Bryce, and until next time, have a great day.